It's the worst.
Oh shit.
Lad, when you visited, Lad has this is a good time to stop for a sec too, I guess, before we get on to the next one. Lad, you've met tons of wrestlers too, right? Like Aurethious worked in the biz, so you got to meet a lot of wrestlers that way. You, more of a fan side, met a lot of wrestlers, right?
Yes, I have.
Yeah. Any interesting stories from that? Because I have one that me and you both shared at the same show, but I'll get to that in a sec. I want you to tell me some of yours if you have any.
One of the most positive ones.
Yeah, we need a positive story.
Yeah, meeting Paul. And it was kind of like a special tour he was on with this that goes around Canada.
Who there you cut out a bit.
He was on a tour with this company that just goes around the western parts of Canada and all that. So,
Who was?
Paul Orndorff.
Oh, Paul Orndorff. Good.
Yeah, and so he was in town. So I'm like, oh, I really want to see him. That'd
Yeah.
be awesome. And I'm actually taking a look at the autograph. It's a WrestleMania promo picture of him and Piper. And he was just a very nice guy. Complimented me about my Cactus Jack shirt. Got to see him wrestle for the last time and all that.
Well,
Which
that's
I have.
I was gonna
I
say
have.
you on your YouTube. You have it recorded. His last ever match, Paul Orndorff.
Yes, I do. Which is something I'm like, oh my god, I got to see him.
Yeah.
And then after the show, he was there at the exit, shaking everybody's hands and to the show and all that. It's like, oh, that's so nice.
He's a nice guy, man. There's a nice picture, and if you want, never mind. But there's a nice picture you have there, and it's you with him, and he's wearing sweatpants because he's old. You know, it's easy to move around, and he has the fattest cock I've ever seen on a fucking wrestler. Paul Orndorff has a baby arm on his shoulder and a baby arm in his pants. Holy fuck balls, man. Holy shit. Fucking good for that guy. You know? One of the best things. Do you remember when they did the We Are the World, the WWE guys?
Oh, yeah.
Whatever the fucking, I don't remember what the song was, but it's all the wrestlers singing the song for charity. And the best one, they're going around and they're all like, you know, doing their thing. And then in the corner, you see Paul Orndorff posing with his shirt off. That guy's a fucking, I love that guy. Like, I have nothing, you know, I can make fun of his gimp arm because it is fucked up, but I have no actual bad feelings about Paul Orndorff. That dude rules.
Yeah. Got to meet Ron Simmons.
Ron Simmons, was he nice too? I hope so.
Oh, he was nice though, but I was fucking terrified.
Why were you terrified?
It's Ron Simmons.
He's fucking, he's 98 years old. He's shrunk down to the size of a fucking 5'2".
He still had some built on him.
He still had some built on. Yeah, it's called fat. He's old.
No muscles.
Holy shit!
Like I've seen clips of him beating up Public Enemy and all that. I'm like, oh, I got to be careful what I say.
Oh no, this guy was part of the Acolytes Protection Agency. The last thing I want to do is offend him and have him put on his blue gladiator helmet.
Oh,
Ah, look at Aurethious.
How do you take Ron Simmons, who was basically the first African American world champion? You get him, and your idea is, all right, we're gonna change this fella's name. We're gonna put him in like traditional gladiator garb, and we're gonna bring him out there. Who get, you know, all American football player, you know, world champion wrestler. Nah, Farouk Assad. That's this guy.
It's the fucking best. I love it too because that's another Mick Foley book reference too. Is him and Mick went to go pick up their gimmicks at the exact same time, right? And they go in and they see the gladiator helmet, but they don't see Mick's mask yet. And both of them said to each other, "I fucking hope that's yours. I hope that ain't mine." And then fucking Mick sees his mask and he's like, "Gladiator helmet." Which I love the Mick Foley mask. That's a fucking great mask. It's fucked up and it's weird, but it works, I feel. It's a good fucking look. The blue gladiator though, that sucks.
Yeah.
What I like too, good on Farouk. I don't know, this might be dangerous because I don't know wrestling, and B, I'm white. I'm as white as Eddie Guerrero, honestly. And I'm nervous about what I say here. Farouk, I like the fact that Farouk's biggest gimmick, arguably, maybe this is me being wrong, was one that wasn't reliant on him being black. You know what I'm saying?
Damn gimmick.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck that shit. Him, like when he started as the Acolytes Protection Agency, that's whatever. But like the regular Acolytes when they first came up, there was nothing inherently like he wasn't a stereotype or nothing. He was just an acolyte. I thought it was just a good game because, like I said, you see with like Nation of Domination, all that, even Devon Dudley afterwards and stuff, like they play up that shit, and so to see him not have to do that, to just be just this domineering force, him and that fucking asshole Bradshaw, it was cool to see, man. Good on them.
So funny.
Okay, all right, we can move on, I guess. Holy shit. Oh, I feel like I just got potatoed by that silence.
I got nothing good to say about Bradshaw. So.
No,
I don't think anyone does. Fucking asshole. I hate that guy.
Just soaping up people's bodies in the showers and all that.
Fuck Bradshaw. I don't give a shit about. We talked about Bret Hart and Hulk Hogan, right?
Yes.
Yes, we did. From Calgary, Alberta, Canada, weighing in at 5'10", 227 pounds, Owen Hart.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, this one's not going to go well.
No.
Strap in, kids.
Oh.
Over the Edge, 1999. Owen Hart unfortunately passed away during his entrance as the Blue Blazer. At the time was his gimmick, and this is true. It's not funny. A lot of people do jokes about it now because so much time's passed, but it is fucked up. Owen Hart was a nice guy. I think everyone can say for the most part. I'd hope. I haven't really looked into it. His gimmick at the time was as a clumsy superhero, and the bit was supposed to be he was supposed to release the binding on his zipline a little early to comedically fall on his face once he got to the ring. Unfortunately, as almost everyone knows, the issue caused him to be released far too early, which resulted in him in falling approximately 78 feet, landing chest first on the top rope, which led to him being thrown into the ring. Right? He passed away from his injuries. I don't think immediately. I think they did get him out of the ring, but on the way to the hospital, he unfortunately passed away. So that is Over the Edge 1999, right? And if that wasn't bad enough, this is the part I get more mad at. Like the gimmick itself, that's stupid, it's unsafe. This is the part that pisses me off. That the WWF inexplicably decided to continue on with the fucking pay-per-view.
Yeah, that's been one of the big controversies about that show. And you'll get people arguing on both sides, but I'm just, from like the talent perspective of those guys and girls having to go out knowing that your coworker, friend, family member in some cases just died. Like,
you think about it like that, like
area where you're.
Well, that's it too. Like it was in the fucking ring. You're standing over where your fucking friend / a guy even where. Like I can hate someone at work, right? But if I found out they got fucking like a fucking wall fell down or the roof fell down on them and killed them. All right, other than like the roof part, but just knowing like someone you even if you hated died at work, it would fuck you up. And they still went and continued it, right? Mm-hmm. I want you to remember that. The fact that they continued. Let's keep going, though. This event would not be released in any way until 2014, in which the start of the event, after that was, I think it was on WWE Network, says, in memory of Owen Hart, May 7th, 1965 to May 23rd, 1999, who accidentally passed away during this broadcast. Remember that extremely clumsy wording, too. Now let us go back 7 years before that. This time we're in Japan. It's the 1992 NWA World Heavyweight Champion Masahiro Chono, and he is defending his title against Steve Austin. During the match, Steve Austin sets up for a sit-down tombstone piledriver against Chono. Steve Austin botches it, which causes Masahiro Chono to break his neck, thus severely messing up New Japan's popular talent and hurts the company's booking options going forward. There is no evidence to this day of Stone Cold apologizing for this incident. Okay? We're all still on the same page? This is a longer one. Speaking of New Japan Pro Wrestling, Owen Hart would tour with them multiple times between 1987 and 1991 as various gimmicks, even winning the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship, the first non-Japanese wrestler to do so. That's pretty impressive. That's fucking impressive. I believe, too, during one of those runs, he did do the Blue Blazer gimmick even back then, but it was more of a serious type thing, right?
I do think so.
Let's fast forward to SummerSlam, 1997 now. Owen Hart is defending the WWF Intercontinental Championship from Stone Cold Steve Austin. During the match, Owen Hart sets up for a sit-down tombstone piledriver against Austin. Owen Hart botches it, which causes Stone Cold Steve Austin to break his neck, thus severely messing up popular WWF's talent and hurts the company's booking options during the height of the Monday Night Wars, no less. Owen Hart is noted as calling Austin while Austin was still in the hospital to apologize. You got to ask yourself, was this a planned revenge on Austin for what he did to Masahiro Chono? While a tombstone piledriver was planned, it was meant to be on the knees and not a sit-down one. Same move, same injury, same everything. Right?
Right.
Aurethious is turned off.
I will not stand for any Owen Hart slander. So anybody who thinks that is a legitimate story, that Owen Hart intentionally injured Steve Austin for any reason, whether it was to get revenge for Chono or anything like that, is an idiot.
Right.
Yeah.
So you don't believe?
And an idiot and an awful human being.
Okay.
Like there are not many people in professional wrestling who are as well revered as Owen Hart is. I say is because to this day, people still talk about not only that he was a great wrestler, but just a great person. And
backstage too, which is a big thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So to think that someone who has the reputation that Owen Hart has would do something like that doesn't add up.
I can see someone like maybe even a Bradshaw or some dickhead like that, going back to Bradshaw because we talked about him already. But an Owen Hart, almost any Hart really, you just can't see it, man. You just don't see it. It doesn't make sense. What about you, lad? I don't want to put answers in your words though. Because like when I read this one, even I was like, okay, it's fucked up, and it's fucked up that Stone Cold never apologized when he demanded apology from Owen Hart all these years, even after Owen Hart passed away. But anyway, go ahead, lad.
I don't think it's true.
Lad agrees. Lad says Owen Hart did it.
What? No.
However, the conspiracy does not stop there.
Oh no.
Whether you agree or not, I think all three of us are saying we do not agree. We think it's just is what it is, right? Yes. Not putting words in the mouth. Was the drop later at Over Edge intentional, perhaps to injure Owen Hart in retaliation, but then accidentally killed him instead?
No.
Yeah, I just can't. I mean, as bad as the incident was, and as negligent as WWF proved to be.
Yeah.
I mean, Vince McMahon is a lot of things.
Yeah.
But I don't think even Vince McMahon would go to that level to do something. I mean, you look at it's the most famous incident of this kind, the Montreal Screwjob.
Yeah, sure.
And
another Hart.
Yes, that is a Vince McMahon thing.
Yeah.
I think that even as narcissistic and sometimes borderline insane as that man can possibly be,
sure,
I don't think he would even have somebody intentionally injured.
Go ahead.
No, I don't have anything to add to that.
I think he would an injury, sure. I don't think in this instance he did it. I really don't, because the fact is it was such a deadly thing to be doing anyway, even safe, unsafe, whatever. So I don't think here. But as far as like going on injury, it absolutely to me would see like something
not
he would do.
not to something like that. That's
No,
a stunt.
exactly.
That's a dangerous
Yeah.
stunt. I mean, receipts in wrestling
Yeah.
are not an uncommon thing.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
whole idea of this person did something, they need to be taught a lesson, so you send a shooter in the ring, and you stretch them a little bit.
Sure.
Like that's one thing.
Perry
But
Saturn.
to like rig something crazy like that, yeah, no.
No, I agree. In this situation, I don't think it happened. But as far as like, oh, Vince McMahon wouldn't do that. No, I fully agree. I think Vince McMahon.
I mean more on the idea of like something like that could cause serious bad injury. Like
which unfortunately,
that's not taking someone and like snapping a leg or an arm or something. Like that's like,
yeah, or giving him the blue meanie treatment, a la Bradshaw, that fucking dick.
yeah.
Good old Bradshaw hate.
yeah, exactly. Did you guys see that Hornswoggle match with Bradshaw? It just turns into a Bradshaw hate fucking thing. Lad, what do you think?
I just think it's just a complete accident. I cannot see Vince being like wanting to hurt so during a big stunt.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying too. It's extreme. It is wacky. The whole Chono thing, Stone Cold thing, I think that part, there's like, but then again, 5 fucking years. And like I said too, Owen Hart did his tour of fucking New Japan like 2 years before Stone Cold got in there with Masahiro. So that's like a hell of a grudge to hold on to, you know? Like it's just interesting though. It is wacky. You know, humans look for patterns. That's what a lot of conspiracies are, just patterns. You know? Like I actually saw a great conspiracy today. Check this one out. This is unrelated to wrestling. I just saw it. It's just interesting as fuck to me. 2 seconds here. I just saved it. So World War I started on 28th 07 1914. 28 plus 07 plus 19 plus 14 equals 68. World War II started on 01 09 1939. 1 plus 9 plus 19 plus 39 equals 68. This war started on 24 02 2022. 24 plus 2 plus 20 plus 22 equals 68. In Jewish, gematria meaning of number 68 is Big Bang. Moreover, this TV show Doctor Who, episode 68, the name of that episode, Big Bang. We're all gonna die. Humans love patterns. They love coincidence and shit. I think this is just an unfortunate case of that myself. But it is interesting.
Things like this always serve to prove to me that there are just people in this world who have far too much time on their hands.
Exactly.
I will say this though, bad on Stone Cold, because I didn't realize he was so fucking pissy even after Owen Hart apologized in the hospital. He held it above Owen Hart's head for so long, and yet never once did he apologize to Chono for the exact same injury in the exact same style.
Yeah.
Come on. What the fuck? And this would be a perfect time. I wanted to say, as we move on to the next conspiracy theory, in just the bottom corner, somewhere on the screen, I'm going to bring up a little clip of Masahiro Chono in the Girls in Panzer music video.
Oh, no.
He's great in that. It's so fucking... Let's just have that as we move on. So we just finished talking about dead Canadians in a very somber story. Didn't we? From Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, weighing in at 5'11", 229 pounds, Chris Benoit. Chris Benoit is probably one of the better examples of ruthless aggression music. I find after Attitude Era, the music started going. Chris Benoit's fucking fantastic tune.
Now, are we talking about the original version or the Our Lady Peace version?
Oh, yeah.
I would assume... The original.
They did an original, which is instrumental, and then they did, what was it? What was the name of that album, lad? They did an album where they did basically new versions of a lot of different songs done by actual bands, and Our Lady Peace did Chris Benoit's, and it's really good.
You know what's actually
A
really
lot of the
good?
stuff was really good on that album.
I was gonna say,
Reckless Intent. That was the name.
was
of
it
the album.
Reckless Intent? I'll have to check that out. I wish I could bring it up on screen, but that ain't gonna. I wish I could bring it up in the episode actually, but that ain't gonna cut it. We're gonna get slapped. You know what's a great version actually from that same album? Canes by Finger 11. I think it was.
Yep.
Yeah, that fucking. That song still pumps. I'll get out of the shower, right?
That's a good song. That's a good song. I thought it was always weird because it, like, the lyrics of that song don't really match Kane.
See, I don't know the lyrics. I hear the singing and I don't like the hook. It gets to get back, but that the main chorus fucking rules. Like like I said, I'll get out of the shower, right, and I'll watch as the water runs off my tip of my cock, and I'll just because he used to come out doing the fucking Jason fucking Friday the 13th walk. That's how I get doing the glove check. I love fucking Kane, man. But then the hook. Go ahead. No, go yeah.
No, go ahead. I was just gonna keep talking about that album more, but go ahead. Go. Where you go.
Well, no, I was gonna say because the hook of that song is all because it comes off, that, and then it cuts, and you're like, oh, what is this? I don't know the words, but you just hear it. And you go, that's not Kane. Kane's supposed to be dark and gritty. He's not. Shut up.
Glenn Jacobs actually.
Oh wait, that was.
version.
I don't have the right album. What the heck? I gotta find that album now.
Yeah, you're fucking this up, Aurethious.
Forcible Entry, I think, is what it was.
Oh yeah, Forcible Entry.
What's that? Was that a prison fucking album?
You can take it as whatever you want.
Yeah. So that was.
I heard Kevin Nash got forcible entry back in '92.
Oh.
So this is. I mean, they went out and they got some people to work on this. So that had Triple H's song done by Drowning Pool.
Okay. Yeah.
Austin's theme done by Disturbed. It has the Limp Bizkit version of Rollin' for the Undertaker,
which was great. Just fucking great.
Our Lady Peace for Benoit. They did Rob Zombie for Edge.
Oh, did they? I don't remember that.
Never Gonna Stop. I think it was an actual Rob Zombie song, but they did like a remix of it, and Edge used that for a song for a while.
Okay, all
right. Breaking Point for Rob Van Dam.
Okay.
They put The Beautiful People by Marilyn Manson on there because they were using that for one of their shows at the time. I think SmackDown.
SmackDown. Yeah.
They had Seven Dust doing Chris Jericho's song, which I, to this day, was shocked that he never actually used that as his entrance because it was a really good version of Break the Walls Down.
Did they do Fozzy? Did Fozzy do that for his intro?
No. It was just. I mean, it was just. I think it was just a Jim Johnston song for his original, and then they. I think for like a little point in time, they had a Fozzy song that they used for him, but not very long. I think it was "Don't You Want to Be Me."
Sure.
That they did on like they did. It was called like WWE
Originals.
And and so it was like all songs that the actual wrestlers performed themselves.
Oh no!
It's just shit album.
Was it? Do you guys remember?
It's good for the wrong reasons.
The only good song that was John Cena's Bugonomics, so that's the only one that was good.
That was pretty good. I remember humming that shit. Oh, two things there. First of all, you're talking about beautiful people. Do you guys remember the Raws Across the Nation?
That was on that album too.
Yeah, Across the Nation. I still have that on my list. That's fucking song
that's
slaps.
The Union Underground.
Union Underground, exactly.
Just to run through the rest of it. So Saliva for the Dudley Boys. Monster
that'd be
Magnet
good.
for Matt Hardy. Yeah, Monster Magnet for Matt Hardy. Stereo Mud for Raven.
That's good too. That's good.
Cypress Hill for Taz, which he actually ended up using as his entrance.
Fuck yeah.
Dope actually did a version of No Chance in Hell for Vince McMahon.
Oh, I gotta find this. This album is also so fucking dated. It's like a time capsule from that period.
Yeah, Boy Hits Car did Lita's song.
Okay, sure.
And then Finger 11 for Kane. What's the release date on that?
Did they do fucking... Is Zebrahead on there too? Where's Breaking Benjamin? Like, Jesus, this is the most time capsule-ish fucking album ever.
2002 sounds like.
Breaking Benjamin and Zebrahead, I think, were on one of the video game soundtracks.
Yeah, SmackDown vs.
Yeah,
Raw.
Because that was actually how I first heard of Breaking Benjamin.
Dude, Firefly once again is absolutely on my list, man. That fucking song rules. Firefly, would you shine your light in? I fucking love that tune, man. Same thing, that whole game's music. I don't know, was that Tommy Tallarico doing that? Because that was an amazing fucking. Remember they did Shockcore, Bonecracker on there. Was on there, man. Like I said, fucking Zebrahead was on there. That fucking album ruled, man. Fuck.
Good memories.
Good memories,
So anyway,
man. Well, there was one more I was gonna say in regards to intros, but I can't think of any. But no, yeah, fucking Chris Benoit's, man. That fucking did it. I'm still waiting. The biggest pop you would ever see, and it's one of those like fantasy ones that you don't never happen, is fucking David Benoit coming out on AEW to that music. Can you imagine the crowd would shit themselves if they heard whip, and they're like,
they'd never do it.
Never. But Dave Benoit looks like he looks like Chris Benoit with AIDS, and so it would be great to see him come out.
What? What?
What? You ever see it?
Yeah, you could have just said a skinnier person.
No, because his head's all like sunken in. He looks like a Jamaican shrunken head voodoo doll of fucking Chris Benoit. He looks like Chris Benoit's body does now. Okay, like he's got a horrible fucking appearance. But yeah, that would be huge. I would shit myself. I would fucking get a Benoit tattoo, even though Benoit did do what he did. Or did he?
Oh.
Let's look into it. By far the least pleasant of my conspiracies today. So I will be keeping it as short as possible to just bullet points, because this was a long, real story. We all know the story of Chris Benoit's murder-suicide, right? Even non-wrestlers should know it. That said, I'm going to very succinctly bullet point this one. The officers discovered the bodies of Benoit, his wife Nancy, and their 7-year-old son Daniel. It was, I thought Daniel was the live one.
No, that's David.
Oh, I was wondering why you guys were freaking out like that. I thought that was a good reference I did. It was said over 3 days, Chris Benoit tied up Nancy before killing her and drugging Daniel before killing him. Toxicology showed he had Xanax, hydrocodone, synthetic testosterone in his system, as well as severe brain damage, indicating dementia and Alzheimer's of a typically 85-year-old. Once again, keeping it succinct as possible, here are some counter bullet points. Like, because we know the fucking story at this point, right? Let's just get right into the conspiracy. How about? So you guys ready for this?
As ever.
Aurethious?
I know this one. I remember this vividly at the time. That
Sure.
This was one of the first things that people glommed onto with this, because there were people who were just desperate to cling to the idea that Chris Benoit didn't do this.
It's weird how lovable Chris Benoit is, considering he had the personality of a piece of wet sandpaper. Like, it's amazing. People love him so much. All you ever hear about Chris Benoit too are like bullying stories. Isn't AJ leads the chick? So what? AJ Styles has like a bullying story of Undertaker, Bradshaw, and Chris Benoit bullying him in a locker room. Remember? You guys ever hear that one?
No.
Yeah, that's AJ Styles. That's the guy now, right? Phenomenal, right? Yeah. So he was doing a show way back in the day, right? Before TNA even, and he was doing a show for fucking WWE, and he was getting changed in the locker room, and fucking Bradshaw and Chris Benoit came by, grabbed his clothes and threw him in the shower, and said, "You don't change in the locker room. You haven't earned it." And so AJ Styles was like, "Okay," and fucking Undertaker was there cheering him on and shit. This is what AJ Styles reports, at least. Okay, anyway, as like I said, it just is what it is. Anyway, let's get to some counterpoints here. And remember, guys, this is all for fun and shit I saw on the internet. We're not endorsing or saying this is the truth. I should remind everyone. Chavo Guerrero was on the phone with him Friday night, him being Chris Benoit, I should mention, when he heard knocking, and Chris Benoit had to leave the call to answer the door. When Chris Benoit answered the door, Chavo heard a scuffle, and then the call ended. Chavo was unable to get a hold of Chris Benoit for 3 hours after that. When Chris Benoit answered 3 hours later, Chavo Guerrero said he sounded groggy and he was not talking like himself, even saying, "I love you, Chavo," which he never had done before. It's been reported Chris Benoit's phone was never actually located after, nor were the needles he apparently used to inject himself before committing suicide. Chris Benoit was not hanging from his machine like everyone says. His body was actually slumped against / slightly under. It was kind of on its side. The medical examiner said, because everyone always pictured that too, that he like fucking put a Bowflex fucking thing around his head and pulled the pin on the weight or something, like a fucking grenade, like a Bowflex grenade. No. It's been reported, medical examiner said Chris died on Saturday. And yet, texts were received from Chris's missing cell phone on Sunday. The steroids found at the scene were not in Chris's body. One of the texts on Sunday was a Chavo giving Chris's address, but this was pointless as Chavo had literally been at Chris's house the previous weekend. There was no Bible at Chris's side when he was discovered. Why would he place a Bible next to Nancy and Daniel but not himself? This is where it starts fucking falling apart. I just had to record it anyway. There were 10 empty beer cans and an empty bottle of wine besides Chris' body, but toxicology reported no alcohol in his system. Police reports were terribly inaccurate, this is true, and updated many times. This is how come originally like WWE did like that whole show where, hey, I'm alive. Remember Vince McMahon had to come out and say he's alive, and they did the memorial show, and then it got updated again, and now it's like, okay, wait a sec, and then it got updated again. We don't know Chris Benoit. We've never heard of him. It's because they just didn't report it. Like it just kept changing. Daniel was originally reported as suffocated with a garbage bag. Then it was reported that it was a chokehold. And then finally it was reported as a pillow. Nancy's body was reported as being in the downstairs living room. And then it was in the upstairs bedroom. Then finally it was reported in the office room. 14 hours before police discovered the bodies, Chris Benoit's Wikipedia article was updated to include him missing his match for the ECW World Championship was that weekend because of the death of his wife, Nancy. Police traced the IP to WWE headquarters, but it was later listed as a coincidence. For all of his reported brain damage, and this is just another one people throwing on the side, never once during any of the physicals was it picked up upon that this dude's brain is a fucking big pile of peas. Kind of odd, don't you think? So I'm going to stop there. There's a couple more bullet points left, but let's just breathe for a sec. What are you guys thinking? What are you guys feeling so far? Does any of that stick out to you? Some of it I don't give a fuck about. Some of it sounds like silliness. The fact is, the police getting it inaccurate every single time fucks with me. The fucking WWE headquarter IP address thing doubly fucks with me. You know, being almost a whole day ahead of the actual death. That's fucking weird. A coincidence. That's a lot of coincidences. What do you guys think?
I mean, most of this stuff has been kind of proven out. The one thing I'll say about the whole idea about that the issues with his brain that they found after the fact.
Yeah.
This incident is what really spurred WWE, or I shouldn't say spurred, kind of almost forced WWE to start taking concussions seriously.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because we started hearing this silly narrative, and this is not from the company. This is more so from like fans and other people, is that, oh well, before this point we didn't know that concussions were that bad for you.
Yeah.
And it's like now all of a sudden we realize that concussions are bad. Like same thing with the NFL. It's like
same thing with the NFL. Fuck yeah.
So I think that the reason why that like they didn't catch any of this stuff is because they weren't looking for it.
I agree with that.
It's the same thing for years about, like, again, going back to the NFL, like you get your bell rung and it's like, okay, you all right? Can you get back out there?
Walk
Yep,
it
I'm
off,
good.
kid.
And you
Walk
go
it
back out
off.
there. It's like now they know what to look for because they pay attention to that stuff. But not to say that they necessarily didn't know, but they weren't checking for that because it wasn't on their consciousness at that point.
I would also say this too before we get to Lad. Sorry, Lad, I keep cutting you off here.
That's fine.
Even if they did catch it, like you said, this is back when it wasn't this big pressing public deal. So even if they did see it, like, wow, man, hey, your brain's good, they wouldn't like really make a deal of it. It's like, hey, man, just watch, do less flying headbutts. It sucks that the guy with brain damage, his big finisher, is a fucking headbutt off the top. There's a great video. Maybe I'll throw that in. Oh, I can't throw anything WWE on this or it'll get fucking copyright stricken. But there's a great video of, I think it's WCW, Jimmy Snuka and Chris Benoit up on the steel cage. Jimmy Snuka does his fucking move, and then he's like, come on, Chris Benoit. And Chris Benoit does his flying headbutt off the cage. It's a great fucking... That's your finisher. The guy with brain damage is doing headbutts from 10 feet up. Like, fuck me, you know? So even if they did catch it, I could see them just being like, ignore it. Just, it's fine. What about you, lad? What are you thinking?
I agree with you guys. Like, you guys said everything. Like, even back then, though, it's like, oh, well, it's just fucking, you'll be good. Just take a breather, up a little bit if you have to, and just, you're good. I just think it's just time to change.
Fair enough. But things get weirder. Kevin Sullivan, a high-ranking member of a satanic cult and ex-husband of Nancy Benoit, had previously told Chris that he would kill him. And this one is 100% people just say, yeah, he said that all the time. He loved to threaten Chris Benoit that he'd kill him. The weekend of the incident was the 10-year anniversary of Nancy's divorce with Kevin Sullivan. Interesting. Weeks before he died, many other wrestlers reported Chris Benoit taking different routes to and from his house as he and Nancy believed they were being followed. They had told their friends this even. In the end, well, first of all, I should stop there because we just brought up one of the members of my least favorite member from my most favorite tag team, Kevin Sullivan, the Taskmaster. What do you guys think about the Kevin Sullivan angle?
People were just, again, they were so desperate to find something that says that Chris Benoit did not do this. And, I mean, everybody knew about the Kevin Sullivan thing.
Sure.
As far as the history that they had. I mean, WCW even made it a storyline.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know. It's just, I remember seeing it at the time and going, wow, like there are people that are really going to buy into this. Like it's classic like murder mystery storytelling, and I know people just wanted it to be true, but it's just, I don't know. I'll say this. I do know a few people who know Kevin Sullivan.
Sure.
And I mean, he's a weird dude, but
yeah,
but to a man, they all talk about what a stand-up guy Kevin Sullivan is and what a like generous and helpful person he is to them. So
sure.
I don't know. To me, again, it's people desperately looking for something to blame other than that, and the obvious scapegoat would be the ex.
It's another one of those things where you see the patterns and you go like, holy shit, do I believe? I can't say Kevin Sullivan specifically because I was news to me, the whole wife. I didn't even know the ex-wife, all that shit. The Kevin Sullivan thing, it seems, besides, correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't know wrestling that well. Wasn't Kevin Sullivan on a fucking pay-per-view that same weekend, like on TV, like it's recorded that he wasn't there? I could be fucking wrong. I'm just saying, I don't know. I don't think it's Kevin Sullivan. At the same time, I do agree it ain't right. There's too much just not right here. I mean, in the end, many people actually say, people within the industry say it didn't go how it reported. Chavo Guerrero says no way. Hornswoggle, who I don't know how the fuck he's involved, but Hornswoggle apparently says no way. Heidenreich, who apparently was a big pal in that group, says no way. Black Bart, whoever the fuck Black Bart is, says no way. Dave Meltzer, even, who gives a fuck what Dave Meltzer says? But a lot of people are also saying like there's just no way it happened. Now, I can believe certain stuff. Was his brain fucking fucked? Yeah. Did he hate the fact that his kid was, not as strong or powerful as he wanted him to be? Possibly, but Chris Benoit was no physically imposing motherfucker. What was his weight? What was his build in weight here? I just said it. 5'11", 229 pounds. I've taken shits bigger than that. Like he fucking. I don't know why he'd be like, oh my god, Daniel is a fucking shrimp. Who are you? But as far as did something at least happen different than reported? Yeah, absolutely. There's too much shit. The phone missing, the drugs that are there but not there. There's too much shit where it's like this needs a better investigation. Clearly the police who did it sucked. Look how many times they had to change their fucking police report, which I didn't know was a thing. I thought once you made a police report, it was either correct or wrong. I didn't know you can just keep whiting out sections. Lad, what about you?
I don't think Kevin Sullivan.
You don't think what?
I just don't think Kevin Sullivan was.
No, I don't think so.
Considering the fact though that those two guys, even during the time though where Nancy left for Benoit, they still worked together. And the time though that like Sullivan put the whole thing belt on, oh, stay in the company, please. We need you.
Sure.
I don't think it was.
No, watch out though. You're cutting out a little bit there. So just make sure you're closer to the mic or something.
Oh, sorry about that.
No worries. There's actually one more bullet point at the end. This is probably my favorite bullet point because I've never heard anyone mention this before, ever. And I've heard the story inside and out and up and left, down and right. Chris Benoit's friend and ex-WCW tag team partner, Biff Wellington, died the same fucking weekend.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Biff Wellington and Chris Benoit both made their debut to WCW together as part of the tag team tournament. And they stayed friends apparently throughout their whole careers too. And Biff Wellington died the same exact weekend Chris Benoit did. Sometimes truth is stranger than fiction.
Now, are you trying to tell us, though, that the Dungeon of Doom did this?
Yes! No! Yes! I'm saying the Yeti fucking bummed him in the asshole. Fucking the Yeti fucked Beef Wellington in the ass to death.
Are you saying that the Leprechaun had something to do with this? I knew I couldn't trust that sneaky motherfucker.
It's weird too. They found Biff Wellington collapsed in his living room with a fucking golden thorn sticking out of his fucking chest. Quick, who are some other Dungeon of Doom fucking? They found shark bites up and down Biff.
They found a star and moon painted shape on the victim's body.
Yeah. Dungeon of Doom had what, like 22? They found a monster truck tracks outside the front of his house. Oh man!
They found a T-shirt that was too tight.
What a reference! I love the Dungeon of Doom so much. I love the Dungeon of Doom. But anyway, so those last two, those were a little grim. Look at Aurethious doesn't even want to laugh anymore.
The joy's gone.
I'll say this. So like I'm typically not someone who is generally affected by celebrity deaths at all.
Okay, sure.
But
yeah.
The Owen Hart and Chris Benoit deaths really hit me hard. Owen Hart was my favorite wrestler growing up, and just the tragic nature of everything that happened with that was that was tough. And then the Chris Benoit thing, mostly because of how kind of, I don't want to say, is it this before I actually got involved with wrestling myself, but like just the amount that I followed wrestling at that point, and just the nature of everything that happened with that. It's just one of those situations where it's like, oh man, like this is the guy that you've been watching for years, you've been a fan of for years, and to see this happen, it's just like, in the way that it happened is just, those are two of the only celebrity deaths that I ever hit me as like, wow, this is impacting me on an emotional level.
Sure. Fair enough. I remember it. You said Eddie Guerrero?
I'd agree with that. Eddie's on that same level too, just because it was a guy who, had his struggles, seemed to be,
Yeah.
finally getting everything going in the right direction, but just,
Yeah.
obviously the years of abuse got to him.
Well, and
Yeah,
it is
it
always
was like
sad.
it was
Go
my
ahead. Sorry.
first one as well. Yes, sir. It was my first one as well, though. So it was like, oh god, it just
It
really messed me up bad.
Yeah, the Eddie Guerrero one was really sad too because it was so mysterious. It was just random. It just no one had a reason right off the hop, and it's always painful to see such a popular white person lose their life like that. And so,
As a
guys, I'm
kid,
sorry. I cannot fucking do sad. It's not in me. It's not like I'm not sad. It's just it's a creepy feeling. Like ooh, this is awkward. I need to do a pee pee joke quick. This is fucking, that
It's a weird thing. It's a weird thing because like as a wrestling fan, especially one like for me who grew up watching wrestling in the 80s
yeah
and throughout the 90s and into the early 2000s, you almost become numb to wrestling deaths because it was such a prevalent thing that
yeah
wrestlers from that era and even a little bit before were dying at such a young age at such a rate. And it's
yes absolutely
like the Randy Savage death was another one of those where it's like all you generally you get numb to them, but then this happens and it's just like, but that's so it's these ones that have these circumstances to them, like again the Owen Hart one was such a tragedy, and obviously the horrific thing with Chris Benoit, and some of these other ones it's just like they stick out a little bit more, and then it's just like, oh yeah, another wrestler. I hate saying it this way because it sounds you know either inhumane or
yeah.
unempathetic, but it's like, oh yeah, another wrestler died. It's not really a surprise, but you every now and again you get those ones that resonate.
Well, no,
so
that's true.
a
I
lot.
mean, and like going back, like I remember when Chris Benoit did, like there was literally people at my school crying, and I didn't know about it because I had already pretty much checked out with wrestling. And they're like, what's going on? Oh, Chris Benoit died. This, that, and the third. And that was before any of the details came out. And you're like, even me who had been out of wrestling, like, man, Chris Benoit, fuck. Like I'm not because I liked him or anything, but it's just like that guy like was so removed. Me being dumb like I am, you didn't think like drugs or anything did it. You didn't think. Yeah, you just assumed like, wow, that's fucked up. Like he seemed like a healthy guy, except for his brain is made out of mashed potato. But fucking otherwise, he seemed like a healthy guy. Guy's got fucking prehistoric rock brain. Ain't fucking good. Uh, but yeah, no, I think the only, and this is because I think because you're also more attached. Like you guys having been really into wrestling and shit, it hurts you more. Like when Patrice, we brought up, I don't know if that was on stream. That was on stream. Yeah. Or stream, podcast, whatever. We talked about Patrice O'Neal briefly. When he passed away in 2011 due to a heart stroke and then complications from the stroke a month later, like he was just a vegetable for a month before he died. Fucked me up. I still have trouble listening to late Patrice O'Neal shit, like late clips or interviews, because it's just you just know, and it's just it fucks you up. So I get it. It's what you're attached to. Like the only other celebrity I think I actually shed a tear over was I'm gonna get the name wrong, so it's gonna sound awful. Was Mike D from Beastie Boys, right? Was it Mike D or
Uh,
RCA? Which one was it? Mike D, I think, was the one who passed away.
at least, so.
I believe so.
Fuck. I gotta Google it now. If I say this wrong, I just talked about how it hit me so hard, and now I can't even remember the name.
Yeah.
You're not a true BC Boys
I
fan.
know. It made me so sad, man, when it happened. Adam Yowick. Adam Yowick. Which I'm also probably pronouncing wrong. He was MCA. I said RCA, so I'm an asshole.
Oh
I'm
right,
an
yeah,
asshole all the
yeah,
way
yeah.
around. Yeah.
Yeah.
So MCA from Beastie Boys, man. When I found out he passed away, I was on the way to work in the car and they were playing just Beastie Boys. And I was like, yeah, fuck the Beastie Boys. And then they cut it in between songs and they said, yeah, so he's passed away from brain cancer. I'm like, I didn't even know he was sick. And for like the first hour at work, like I wasn't like weeping or nothing, but I was just like I just sucked it out of me. So I could see like, talking shit like this, especially in instances like these last two where there's a mystery. Were they doing the dirty? Was it? It's going to fucking feel especially nasty, right? I get that.
Mhm.
Yeah, you mentioned music. I get another one. I got Lane Staley. That one bothered me a little bit. Like, and Lane Staley's issues were like, you know, legendary. Like, everyone who knows anything
Right.
about him and Alice in Chains knows the struggles that he had. But when
Yeah,
he
he was a bit
passed,
of a mess.
yeah, when he passed, it was like, cause I was such a big fan of Alice in Chains, especially when I was in high school.
Yeah. Yeah, some great fucking music. You ever see them? They did opened for the Monsters of Metal tour, which is the four thrash bands. It's fucking Metallica, Megadeth, Anthrax. I'm so sorry, whoever the fourth band is.
I'm gonna look it up.
You're
Metallica,
the music
Megadeth,
expert.
Anthrax. Who is it?
Monsters of
Sarah?
Metal.
Yeah. Don't fuck with me now. It's Metallica, Megadeth, Anthrax, because I love all those bands, and then
Fourth one.
Anthrax. What the fuck is the fourth one?
I don't know. I'm trying to find.
Slayer.
Uh,
So that's it's called the Big Four. The Big Four they called them. I said the Monsters of Metal. The Big Four. And
Okay.
Metallica, Megadeth, Anthrax, and Slayer. But fucking cool story. Alice in Chains actually opened for them for that tour, right? And it was
Wow.
great because they were saying the Metallica and shit were saying like, oh, it was awful. They'd go out there, they'd have like beer thrown at them and shit. People would boo, people wouldn't go to watch them. And then fucking fast forward a year later, and they're the big thing on all the radio. Fucking good shit. But yeah, the last two stories have been somber. We have one left. And I did it right because I ended it with a happy one. Let's shake some of the rust off. From Sarasota, Florida, weighing in at 6'2", 237 pounds, the Macho Man, Randy Savage. You guys ready for some Randy Savage?
I guess.
What? I was prepared for you guys to go, yeah, Macho Man. What?
Yeah, I'm just going. I don't know. I wonder where you're going with this.
Yeah.
On Halloween night, episode of Raw in 1994. Interesting. No one's reacted yet. I was ready for like, oh, fuck it. Vince McMahon announced
Is this the Jake Roberts thing?
No, although that is a great story. I will tell that story again because that's one of my favorite Macho Man stories that ever existed, but I'll tell that after. That's how we'll end the podcast. Vince McMahon announced on the episode that Macho Man has left the company and thanked him for his contributions and wished him the best of luck in the future. Weird how from the I wrote this wrong. You can tell this is the end of the notes where the typing's all sloppy. Weird from then on, Macho Man Randy Savage was pretty much dead to the WWE, never being brought back or allowed to return after that. Okay, here we go. Oh shit, things are clicking now. So what caused this shift in opinion? How about finding out later that Macho Man Randy Savage fucked your underage daughter Stephanie McMahon? Everyone seems, for some reason, I don't know anything, so everyone seems to trust Dave Meltzer. He says this on the issue. I think that the reason is the same reason that everyone says. It's the reason everyone in WWE says. It's the reason that is the only one that makes any sense. So I think that's the reason. All I know is that within the company, as far as the top people, they all believe it, and nobody knows for sure because it's never brought up. Wink. So, I'm just stop there. What do you guys think so far? And just keep in mind, there's still a whole page of content to come yet. So don't worry if you feel like I'm not covering something. But what do you guys think about the Stephanie McMahon option as far as why Macho Man was blackballed from the company?
I think it's stupid.
What? Why?
It. I hate that. It's like, oh yeah, because Macho Man had a relationship with Stephanie. It's like, no.
He fucked her.
It's a ridiculous theory. I hate that so much.
Why? She was cute. She was
like,
cute.
I know they were close friends, but not. Ugh. It's just very untrue.
I'll bring up a picture right now of era appropriate Macho Man and area appropriate Stephanie McMahon. And look at him. That's a fucking match made in heaven right there, boy. Look, some cuties, a handsome man and a very cute, very illegal child. Not child, she thinks she's like 17, is underage, but still. What about you, Aurethious?
So, I mean, I guess, I mean, I've heard this before, but
Yeah, it's very popular. It's the most, apparently, when I found it, it was listed as the most popular wrestling conspiracy, so I had to include it.
so are we saying that when did supposedly Vince find out about this, and when did it supposedly take place?
After Vince apparently found out about it after Macho Man left. Hence why originally Vince was like, "Oh, thank you, Macho Man," blah blah blah. And then he found out about it afterwards and said, "He ain't fucking coming back. Dead to me." As far as when did it happen, they won't say. They just say before. It just happened before Macho Man even left.
All right, because I mean, if you do the math,
yeah,
in '94, which is when Savage left, correct?
Yeah. Yeah. Halloween 1994. So late 1994.
So at that point, Stephanie was 18.
Yeah.
So it had to have. So
hence why I'm saying before.
So the only thing I'll say is that, and I know Vince has softened on certain people before, like the Ultimate Warrior, when he brought him back in for the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
They have extended the offer to Lanny Poffo to induct Randy Savage into the Hall of Fame, and Lanny Poffo has always turned it down. Like basically saying that the family is turning it down, like that they're the ones. So it seems like WWE, which by association I would assume is Vince, because I can't believe anything happens in that company without
Vince. Exactly, I agree.
Vince signing off on it. So I feel like if that was an issue for him and that was something that really happened, I don't know if he would 180 to say that, okay, this guy did this, but we'll let him into the Hall of Fame. I don't know.
Business is business. It is weird though. Eugene was allowed in. They made him a joke character, but Poffo is a Poffo.
Wait, what?
Wait, what are you talking about?
Eugene's part of the Macho Man family.
No, he's not.
Nick Dinsmore?
Yeah, he is. That's what I heard. That's what I heard. At least I heard he's a Macho Man.
No, that's not correct.
That's impossible.
No, I swear to God, that's what they said. They said he's a Poffo.
No,
he's like they said he's like Lanny Poffo's fucking kid or some shit.
No.
Yeah.
Why you guys seem to be so sure, but you're not. Who?
I'm looking at his Wikipedia page, and if that was true, it'd be on his Wikipedia page.
It would be, yeah. I agree.
Not the end all be all. No.
It's not saying no.
Just because he had longish hair and a beard, that does not mean he's
that's what I'm saying. People were saying it, and I thought about it. I'm like, yeah, he looks about right. That's about right. That's what they were saying, though. Were they saying it themselves based on looks? Maybe this is what happens.
It's the same people who told you Eddie Guerrero is white.
Hey, we saw proof Eddie Guerrero was white. We cannot find proof that Eugene is a Poffo. It makes sense too. Eugene is dumb and borderline has mental handicap issues. Lanny Poffo is a genius, as we saw.
Yeah, that's another classic thing that they came up with, but
that character fucking sucks. Eugene. The only thing I like about Eugene was the fact that he would do old wrestlers' moves. I thought that was genius. They should have a fanboy wrestler. I thought that was good. Unfortunately, to make him, mentally handicapped, that was fucking silliness. And then, he's not my fucking kid. I cummed on your tits. They did the same thing with Hornswoggle, too. He's not my fucking kid. I cummed on your asshole. Shut up. Shut up.
Well, no. So when Eugene was brought in, he was supposedly Eric Bischoff's nephew.
Yeah.
Was that the story?
Storyline.
Yeah.
But,
Uncle Eric.
So I don't know, the Savage Stephanie thing. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's I don't know. I mean, it's out there, and I think it's. I will. I mean, I will say the fact that that Meltzer comments on it like that,
Yeah.
gives it some credence in my eyes because I do respect him as a journalist.
Okay,
I
fair
think
enough.
I think he has a lot. I mean, as a wrestling historian, he is one of the better ones out there.
Sure.
So I feel like he wouldn't do that if he didn't have at least people telling him that happened.
Which he says they are. He says that
Right.
everyone in the company knows that it is what it is. Here's the interesting thing, because there's a counter theory. It's been said the reason Macho Man got blackballed was because of the WCW portrayal. That Vince McMahon did not know Macho Man was going to WCW till he saw him appear on Nitro. The problem is, and you wrestling fanatics probably already know what the problem is, Macho Man made the jump into WCW in 1994, as we said. The first episode of Nitro wasn't until 1995. You know? So that doesn't make a fucking lick of sense. You
Right.
know? Also, many wrestlers have done stuff to piss off McMahon and the company who were later allowed back, but never Macho Man. McMahon vowed to never work with Hulk Hogan again, but Hogan came back and even won both the WWE Undisputed Championship title and the WWF Tag Team Championship with Edge. Stone Cold Steve Austin shit-talked the company after refusing to job to Brock Lesnar, leading to Vince McMahon announcing the death of Steve Austin era on live TV. Steve Austin would later pay a fine of $250,000, then would become the co-manager of Raw. Kevin Nash and Scott Hall left WWF after the Madison Square Garden incident, where they broke character and hugged Triple H and HBK, which many consider, apparently, the start of the Monday Night Wars. Both were rehired. Exactly. Both were rehired for the reforming of NWO. Sable tried suing the WWF for $110 million when she was stripped of her WWF Women's Championship because she refused to take off her top in the ring, which they settled out of court. She would later return for a 2-year stint before retiring to spend time with family. Sable's husband, Brock Lesnar, received an insane amount of push from the WWE, and yet left without warning to try a career in the NFL and once again to pursue a career in UFC. Both times, he was welcomed back and given main event title shots almost immediately. After Ultimate Warrior was cut from the WWF for missing shows to grieve the passing of his father, whom Vince McMahon said Warrior hadn't spoken to in 10 years, Ultimate Warrior said it was because the company wasn't paying him his cut of merchandise sales. He would receive multiple offers to come back before finally accepting in 2014 and being inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. And yet, fucking Macho Man's not allowed back because he went to WCW. That don't make no sense. He fucked Stephanie. He fucked Stephanie.
I mean, I think there's definitely something more there than just he left and went to WCW, because so did Hogan, so did many guys.
Yeah.
You know, WCW was throwing around crazy money at that time, and Vince didn't have crazy money. You know, it's the reason why Bret Hart ended up going, was because, you know, Vince had signed him to that long contract and then realized that he wanted to cut some costs and basically told Bret, you know, talk to WCW, see what they'll give you.
Yeah, dude, fucking Ted Turner, man.
Yeah, there's definitely probably something more there to the story. Whether it's this specifically, I don't know.
Sure.
But it's not the craziest thing I've ever heard.
More than what's being reported, at least, is what you're thinking.
For
Officially.
sure, yeah.
What about you, lad?
There is probably going to be something there, but it's not going to be the Stephanie thing.
I don't know why you guys are so anti-Stephanie. She's sexy in that picture.
I'll bring up the thing, by the end of his life, it looked like he was about to work with them again, though, because he was doing advertisements and that for the WWE All-Stars video game.
Yeah.
So
sure.
It seemed like he was slowly going to be working back with the company, like Legends deals.
But that also doesn't mean he didn't fuck Stephanie. Like, look, Vince McMahon forgave worse in a way. Like, just because he does eventually work.
I think the part of the story that gives people trepidation, who are unsure whether it's the age thing. It's not saying that we don't believe that, you know, Randy Savage would have an interest in Stephanie McMahon. It depends on the age of when we're talking about this.
maybe this is the problem, is that I'm such a scumbag that part doesn't register. That's always just like a haha, she wasn't even legal.
That's
Haha.
that's
That's
the big part. That's the big part of the story. I think is that not. I mean,
so wait a sec. All right. Say we never said underage. Say, oh no, she was 18. Would you guys believe it then? He fucked my daughter.
I'd be,
Fuck
I'd,
him.
I'd be more likely to believe that. Yes.
Really? Oh, what the fuck? I can't believe this is a new angle that we are coming from that I did not expect. What about you,
Because
lad?
I mean, you look at it. I mean, she ended up marrying a wrestler, so it's not like just
Yeah.
the idea of her being with a wrestler was
No.
was was something that Vince was apparently opposed to. But I mean, if it's your I speaking as the father of an underage
This is
daughter,
true. This is true.
I would not exactly be thrilled if I found out that someone that I employed did
Yeah.
something like that.
You found out. I'm so sorry, Aurethious.
Yeah, let's not go down this train
No,
anymore.
You
let's
found out.
abort.
You found out Kagone.
All right. Yeah,
Abort.
this is yeah, you might want to
No.
edit this out.
No, I know, but you yeah, I get what you're saying. I don't just to me, you said it becomes almost more believable when she's of age. I think the exact opposite, because in my head, and this is me not having a daughter, right? I would be more mad at my daughter being sexually active at a younger age, but eventually you get to a certain age where you just go, it is what it is. You're a human, you know. So
No,
like, if I found out,
I'm saying I have less belief that it happened at all. Not about how Vince reacted about anything. I just the idea that the Randy Savage Stephanie thing happened at all. I
oh,
would believe it more if she was of age than if she was underage.
see, you're coming at this from all different angles that I just didn't see. You're just talking even just the actual intercourse, whether that's believable or not.
Yes,
That
if
part,
if you want to term it that way, yeah.
that is what it is, man. Like, because to me, that's the one that makes the most sense. How do I say this nicely? I mean, I don't know. Like, let's put it this way, right? I'm crossing my fingers, so that means no homo. But there is some fucking sexy wrestlers, especially back then when roids were still flying around, right? And if I was fucking prepubescent, man, all right, who didn't whack their bag? Let's find time appropriate. Who didn't lad whack your bag to Trish Stratus? Who, Aurethious, didn't whack your bag to Sonny? You know, right? What I'm saying? And so same thing, like, especially if you're in the business, you know, you go in the locker room, hey, oh, sorry, Randy, I didn't know you were getting changed. It's okay, Stephanie. It's okay. I got my underwear on. Yeah, those are really nice. Boy, how do you fit all that? How do you fit all that macho into your pants? Huh? That's why they must call you Macho Man. Damn right. You want a cup of coffee? Having a big cock in the big time.
The real reason that you included this in the list is because you wanted to do your Savage impersonation.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, you know I do a pretty good Randy Savage. Oh yeah, yeah. I like to think that I do a pretty good Randy Savage. This is Randy Savage impression of me popping Stephanie in the butt cheeks. Oh yeah. Vince McMahon's gonna kick me out and never hire me again. Oh no, I'm gonna have to go to WCW. Yeah. Come on, admit it. That's good. That's hilarious. Everyone loves Macho Man. I think Macho Man fucked Stephanie. Absolutely. I don't see what. Even got a handy some shit, and then this is what it was, man. It was what it was. Now, underage thing, whatever. Like I said, that shit barely registers to me because, I mean, you argue like 17, 18, yeah, statutory, but really, love is ageless. Who hasn't, Stephanie? You know Stephanie was fucking. It's weird. In one of the change rooms there, they have a Mona Lisa on the wall, and Great Khali is rolling down his 10-foot tall pants and pulling out his elephant trunk sized pecker, and then all of a sudden you see like the Mona Lisa eyes are like going back and forth. Stephanie's on the other side, like, ooh, the Great Khali. Do you think Great Khali's cock is bent a little bit to the left, just like his one leg? I think he's got a big gimp cock like his leg. What do you guys think?
Why are we talking about that?
With the Scooby Doo Mona Lisa eye, Stone Cold. It's fucking Stone Cold picture, and the skull on his shirt as he's up on the eyeballs are moving in his shirt. Shit, man. I love this stuff. I love this stuff. Is there anything you guys would like to add? I feel like, let me just double check something here. Woo wee. We had some fun. We had some fun today. Is there anything else you guys would like to add here? I'm at this point, I'm getting ready to just split this into 2 episodes.
I'm just amazed that we've gone this far into wrestling conspiracy theories, and you didn't have that the Montreal Screwjob was a work.
Yeah.
No,
I was expecting that one coming in.
that one just I saw it come up, and I saw what people were saying, and it didn't jive right. It didn't jive right with me.
For anyone with a brain cell, it doesn't jive.
Yeah. And like, don't get me wrong, I still included like the fucking Owen Hart one and shit, but that's because like it is what it like. It just wasn't even entertainingly like fucking anything, you know. It just nah, that ain't right. Oh, I included a note. I just scrolled down here to make sure I got all my notes. I included a note on the Macho Man one.
Oh,
Is
boy.
unknowingly, so after I listed everyone else's shit and how they still got come back, is unknowingly jumping companies worse than any of the above cases? No way. Is fucking your boss's 17-year-old daughter? Oh yeah. I included that as one of my fucking notes right at the end. Oh yeah. Gonna pop Stephanie in the cherry. Oh yeah. Love Macho Man. Macho Man fucking rules. Boy, the booze is hitting me hard.
Sounds like it.
It's fucking, I like it. It's funny too, because before the podcast, I'm like, oh shit, guys, I need to get a drink before this, right? And I just, oh fuck. Just fucking, I've just been fucking sucking through these dirty Mike's Hard Lemonade super quick.
Yeah, you can wrestle for Heroes of Wrestling now.
You guys want to play blackjack? Well, I'm a white jack like Eddie Guerrero. You guys want? You guys got 21? Well, I got 42. That's double, motherfuckers. Jake the Snake. That's one I am actually legitimately not happy with you guys on. That is the greatest promo ever, and you fuckers still. Oh, he's just drunk. That's a great promo, man. That promo fucking rules.
The rest of the promo.
I don't have to. That promo rules. Yes, I did. Where he shows up. The best part is he shows, and the guy's doing the thing in front of the casino blue mat. We're Jake the Snake, and Jake the Snake is like laughing, playing with his hair and shit. Like he is out of his fucking mind. You know,
yelling at the cameraman to look up. Mr. Cameron, get your ass up on here. I'm talking to you. And then trying to get a DDT chant going, though. And the crowd's like, DDT, DDT.
I love Jake. Don't do this to Jake. I am jealous. So I remember an hour and change ago, I said I have an embarrassing story from when me and Lad went to a show together. let me get to it. So fucking the tour that me and Lad used to check all the time, and the one that Lad checks out every time. I've only been twice with Lad actually. Is they bring on big ex WWE guys, right, or WCW, whatever, right, like ex big stars. And the show, of course, the first show I get dragged to by Lad, the big star, is fucking Charlie Haas. Oh boy. So,
I love Charlie Haas.
Charlie Haas stinks. I'm Team Shelton Benjamin.
To your point, I just saw something the other day. Charlie Haas still isn't verified on Twitter.
Oh, poor Charlie Haas. Well, if you think you feel bad for Charlie Haas right now, wait till you hear this story. So it's the fucking halfway at the halftime, right? And everyone's taking a piss. It's like a fucking 3-hour show, man. I'm like, oh my God. So I'm going to go drain the fucking lizard, right? I come back, and this is something you brought up on Arena of Aurethious podcast. You just, for anyone who doesn't know, at the time of this recording, the most recent episode of Aurethious' podcast, Arena of Aurethious, he had on a wrestling promoter from UFO Wrestling, Pat O'Brien, I want to say.
Pat Dillon.
Yeah, no, it's the way he talks. I'm not making fun of him, but the Massachusetts accent is my favoriteest thing. You can take your Texas accent and shove it up your ass. I just want Boston. Oh, hey, sorry, yeah. anyway, anyway, and you guys were talking. It was very interesting, actually, talking about independent shows that go too long, that try and be like their own pay-per-views and stuff. This was absolutely that. This guy was putting on the fucking WrestleMania of 200 fucking people in the crowd. you know? So I take a piss, and as I'm going, they announce, hey, so everyone, it's the halfway mark. For anyone who wants pictures with Charlie Haas, which they always do, the celebrity pictures, you can go into the ring right now, and it'll just be for $50. And I'm on the way to the bathroom, like, wait, what? It's $15. 15 or 50? If it's $15, I'll get a picture with Charlie Haas, sure. Especially because Charlie Haas only comes to here on me, right? I think it's adorable. I love doing that with wrestlers and athletes and shit. Is the fact that I'm just so much taller and fatter, I make them look small. 50 $50? No. And unfortunately, the same thing I misheard, everyone else misheard. No one heard for sure. And so I came back and I was in the bathroom for a while because the line was huge and I get fucking scared at urinals. I get stage fright. So it's like, crank start. And fucking I get back. No one's in the ring and he's just sitting in the corner staring directly at the crowd. And everyone's like eating their nachos and drinking their beer, like not looking at him. And it's just, and he stayed there for the full 20-minute half break. And I'm like, oh my fucking God, that's the worst. If just the announcer, I could, cause to this day, this is the part that fucks me up. It might have been $15. I would have gotten a ring for $15. Lad, you didn't go get a picture, did you?
No, I didn't though because I wasn't sure what the price was though.
Exactly. I'm not paying $50 for Charlie Haas. I wouldn't pay $50 for Kurt Angle. You know, like fuck that noise. So it's an unfortunate, awkward, and the worst part is because I'm with fucking Lad, and Lad loves his wrestling. He fucking Lad was in there like a mosh pit. I love mosh pits. Lad was fucking hardcore dancing bigger than anyone else ever did. He was fucking splitting the crowd like the Red Sea, and he got front fucking right up against the ring. And so we're sitting there like 3 feet from Charlie Haas staring at me. And I'm like, oh God, Lad, this is embarrassing. Boy, am I really focused on my beer right now. He's like, I was getting ready to just hand him a chip because it's like, Jesus fuck, he's looking at me. That was a rough one, man. That was a rough one.
It was the most embarrassing, most awkward one I ever had.
That was one of the most awkward scenes, and the fact that he stayed in, and like I said, to this day, we don't even know if he was in the right or wrong. It could have just been the audience, because this is the worst part. You know, Charlie Haas was fucking pissed about it because at the end he didn't do a signing or a greeting or anything. He stayed back after the show. So, you know, it was fucking bad. Poor guy. Like, I don't hate Charlie Haas. When I said fuck Charlie Haas, I'm Shelton Benjamin. I like Shelton Benjamin a lot, but in the end, yeah, I don't hate Charlie Haas. He's a fine guy, I'm sure. I hate the Spirit Squad, but that's a whole nother episode, I think. And yet I love the Mean Street Posse. They're all right. That's Lad's favorite tag team right there, the Mean Street Posse. I never even heard of the motherfucking. I don't even remember them. You know, you showed me pictures. I'm like, they look like Weezer. I don't know these fucking guys, man.
Weezer?
Who the fuck are you guys? Anyway, with that said, I think we're pretty much good here, right? I think we're pretty much good. Aurethious, you look pretty checked out at this point. You feel your vitality was stolen. We'll start alphabetically just because, Aurethious, I know for sure you do have stuff you want to plug. What would you like to plug, sir? Once again, too, before we do, I do thank you guys for coming on and putting up with me. Once again, me being not a wrestling guy per se, even though I still kind of like it. It's a weird thing with me. But mainly doing this to bug you guys. Essentially is what this was. I just wanted to have fun with guys who really did know what they're talking about. And I learned some stuff. I do find this stuff interesting. I do. So once again, thank you all for coming on. And like I said, Aurethious, what would you like to plug, sir? I know you have a bunch to plug.
Yeah, so if you're interested in catching any of my content, I stream on Twitch, usually 4 days a week. You can catch me. It's twitch.tv/Aurethious. We hang out on the Ion Game Corner Discord server. It's a lot of fun. We have all sorts of fun stuff. We have a bunch of our content creators, friends like Hunter here, who is under the Trash and Treasure moniker,
Oh
doing all
boy,
sorts
am
of
I.
fun stuff. Among others, doing fun stuff on Twitch, YouTube, the occasional stream on the Discord server itself, and we also have um, Pokemon leagues and tournaments if you're into that kind of thing. We have regular community game nights on Friday where we get together and play some games. So if any of that sounds fun, you can go to iongamecorner.com and it will give you the link to the Discord server there. And you can also catch my podcast, the Arena of Aurethious podcast. It is available on YouTube as well as on Spotify. So if you just search for Arena of Aurethious on either of those platforms, you will find my stuff.
Absolutely, and I will absolutely be sure both on YouTube and Spotify, where I'll be posting this as well. I'll have all the links for everything too, so you guys will be able to find Aurethious and all of his many facets of content. You know, Lad, you not so much, but do you have anything you do want to plug?
Not really. Just come along to the Ion Discord. It's very nice. We do community game night every once in a while, I guess.
Well, that's the funny part. It has happened every Friday, Lad. It's just you've chosen not to be a part of it every Friday.
That's all I said. Every once in a while.
Every once in a while. What a ringing endorsement.
Lad's our Rocket League bringer.
That's pretty much it. It's only when you guys do Rocket League. It's the only game I can play. I can't wait. I can't wait to trick. I don't know how the fuck we're gonna do it, Aurethius, but we're gonna somehow trick Lad here into playing League of Legends. I don't know how the fuck we're gonna do it.
My potato computer.
League of Legends can run on a calculator. There's nothing to it. Okay, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. And then as far as me goes, of course, yes, as was mentioned, you can find me under the name Trash and Treasure, both on YouTube as Trash and Treasure Gaming, and you can also find me on Twitch as twitch.tv/Trash and Treasure, all one word, all lowercase. On top of that, you can find me on Trash _treasure on Twitter. You can also find me as Let's Talk About _X_ on Twitter. You can find me everywhere. You can find me on podcasts. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me on fucking Spotify. You can find me on fucking Pornhub. You can find me on Hentai. You can find me on Pixiv. You can find me everywhere, motherfucker. I'm everywhere you want to be and so much more. And of course, you can find me on the Ion Discord. I do thank you all for watching. I think this will be a double episode. I think Wrestling Conspiracy Theories was so good and so long, it'd be double episode. In fact, guys, we didn't get to the best one.
Oh.
Who was Mr. America? Some say it was Mr. Fuji. Some say it was Mark Henry. He is American. Some say it was Bastion Booger. By God, some even said that kind of looks like Doink the Clown to me. What do you guys say? It's definitely not Hulk Hogan. WWE Magazine said, it ain't Hulk Hogan. Who's Mr. America?
I'm just taking a picture of Mr. America right now.
Yeah, I think it's Mark Henry. The build looks about right.
The world may never know.
You know what? I'm just saying, Hulk Hogan, this might be dangerous to say. Hulk Hogan, Mr. America.
Yeah?
Mr. America, I should say. He looks more Mexican than Eddie Guerrero with that skin color. So I'm leaning towards team fucking Mark Henry myself. That is not the skin of a...
I'm gonna say
this is dangerous now. I don't even know. The joke is there. There is a clean joke to be had, but I'm so drunk I don't know how to say it in that clean way. You know, I like Mark Henry a lot. Let's just put it like that. Do you guys remember that story where fucking McMahon, I don't get this, why McMahon did this, but he said, oh, give him a real fucking pan, frying pan to curl up, right? That way he'll look dumb. He'll look weak. And fucking Mark Henry got it, and they were doing it live, and he said, all right, bitch, and he fucking folded that, and after that, McMahon loved Mark Henry. You know? I watched a whole 35-minute documentary on YouTube about Mark Henry. You talking about like nice guys, like backstage in the ring, etc. Mark Henry is the nicest fucking guy. I've not seen one bad thing about him. You know, whether it's wrestling, whether it's doing shit for the troops, whether he's doing powerlifting stuff because he still does like Arnold lifting competitions and stuff. Nicest fucking guy. I love Mark Henry so much. I'm glad things worked out for him. Anyway, sorry about that. I just wish more people liked Mark Henry. He's also kind of treated as a joke. I feel like a joke character. You know,
Well,
Up until late in his career, yeah.
well, he
what did he do late?
was a part of-
Late in his career, I think of Mark Henry as like kissing Fabulous Moolah and shit. Like I just always picture him as a
Oh
joke.
no, yeah, that.
Oh,
you
no,
stopped
that was-
watching. This is well after you stopped watching.
Yeah, he did
Oh,
the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I love Mark Henry. Good on him. Good on him. Speaking, you remember how you said, "Oh, they fired guys for awful reasons." You know, remember how Gangrel got fired? He took a bump backwards over. It was, I don't know what the name of the move is, where like you run at a guy and he throws you up and over, right?
Back body drop.
Back body. He took a back body drop, and when he landed right in front of the camera, and his gut rolled out of his shirt right in front of the camera. And McMahon said, "Fire that fat piece of shit." That's what he said. So Gangrel went, filmed 7 porn movies, all centered around vampires, and now he works for WWE Creative, I think, talent fucking farm. That's amazing. Anyway, we did our outro and everything. I'm rambling now. I think the booze has got to me. I'm very red in the face.
No.
See, it's going to be a fun night of streaming and whatnot tonight. But thank you once again. Thank these two for coming along, and hopefully we will see you next time with whatever we talk about here on Let's Talk About X. Have a good one.